baby.
No,
I'm a Give some hearts if you guys can hear me. Give some hearts if you guys can see me. Girl, I miss you. Rona's been around too long. We have not hung out. What's the deal? Oh, I should probably put in what we're doing. I miss you too, boo. Like, for real. That's a little bit of us. I still got your book on my coffee table. I love you. I love you. All right, loves. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we talking about? Let's talk relationships and let's talk cards. Okay? You're gonna watch live and text me later. Yes, please, baby. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So this is how we do this. If you're new, bring in your questions on cards. Bring in your questions on relationships. I will be shuffling the cards as we do and giving you relationship advice. A little spirituality in there at the same time. Welcome. Give some hearts if you guys are new. Tell me where you're from. Hi. I'm Sarah Delane, the Conscious Lifestylist. I help in relationships. I help you build online businesses. And this is Soul Circle. I've been doing this for over 3 years every Tuesday. Love and relationships, conscious living, spiritual awareness. Let's go. Love, always. Yes. Hearts. Keep them coming. Love that, babes. Love that. So, if you have questions, type them in the chat. I will be answering. There is amazing. Thank you, baby. You're amazing. Boss it up. We're bossing it up. We're nerding it up. Look, I miss you. Come on. Come on. Did you guys see my post today? Rona, we over it? Okay, see, this is what happens. Those of you that are new, these little cards like to jump out as I'm shuffling. All right. We're going to get started. Thank you, Janet, for reminding us that that is the way love goes. Holy goodness. All right. Through. Yes, through. All right. So if you have, hi, Kylie from Ohio. Yes. Nerd alert. You guys know we keep it real. Okay. We keep it real. Nerdy gangster. Still Rona dating. Oh my God. That's going to be the new hashtag. Okay. Rona dating. Like for real. It's like not, no. It's like Zoom Rona dating. Okay. All right. So for this week, man, there's been some shifts in the energy. Okay. Here's what I want to say for us to potentially expect to hold alignment with. Okay. You guys know that I always keep it real. You guys know that we keep it real. Okay. So here's the real. Some shit's going to go down. All right. Name of the game is keep it real in your own alignment. Okay. Name of the game is also don't depersonalize. Here's how I want to say that now. I am not a therapist. Okay. I'm a conscious lifestyle coach. I am masterful at reworking subconscious programming. But when I use that term, I am not a therapist. Let me be clear about that, despite the glasses. Okay. With everything that's happening, okay, this is, whether it's like with all the craziness happening, what can happen with whether it's Rona dating, what can happen with your day-to-day relationship, friendships, and even just your relationship with yourself, first and foremost, is depersonalizing, which means there's so much intensity that you shut off. You don't know how to deal with the emotions. It's too intense. Everything that we're seeing outside of our outside, right? All the things that are happening, the story that is happening. Okay. We're not going to get into political conversations or anything like that, but the things, the story that's happening, how we're in relationship with that, how we're showing up with that is most important. That being said, because it's so intense, this sort of depersonalizingness, scientific technical term, depersonalizingness, we got to keep that on check. So what does that mean? That means if you find yourself experiencing so much intensity in the world, so much intensity with relationships, people getting triggered all over, hold space for it, okay? Have compassion for it, and don't let that shut you down or put your heart wall up, okay? Because we all know what it's like in relationships when everybody, like, you date each other with a heart wall up, okay? Not emotionally available. So the potential is to recognize that what's going on in the world is setting us up for a higher potential. Let's just play a what if game, higher potential to be more emotionally unavailable, because we haven't been taught how to process our emotions, how to be okay with whatever emotions are coming up. And what I want to remind everybody of, okay, you guys know I keep it real, but no matter what the emotion is, every emotion has a message. Even if we literally just talked about this in a coaching session today, even if the emotion is, let's say, fear, nobody likes that. Nobody likes the feeling of fear. Nobody likes the feeling of anger either. Like, no one on this planet. And sometimes if you can get in touch with it, if you can pull, I have this technique that I talk about where you sort of, emotion is energy in motion. Give some hearts if you guys have heard that, relate to that, resonate with that. Pull the emotion out wherever you feel it in the body. Pull it in front of you and be like, hi, emotion, nice to meet you. Nice to talk with you. Now I can have a relationship with you. And if it's anger, then ask the anger telling you to talk to your emotion, literally, and be like, okay, home slice, anger, dude, ma'am, what do you really want to say? And then wait for the first thing that you hear come up. And sometimes that might be sadness. Sometimes that might be a completely different message than what you would naturally anticipate anger saying. So that's how we can kind of we got to be okay with getting in touch with and feeling. Let me take that back, okay? Because every time I say, like, we got to be okay with feeling our relation or feeling our emotions, everybody's like, empaths, so you know what I'm talking about, okay? Empaths feel it all day long. But what I'm saying is, we got to be okay with, just like we want to have relationships, have the relationship with the emotion and just be like, talk to it, communicate with it. What you need, boo. Anger, what you need. And be okay with that. Let me check in. Give some hearts if that's resonating. Yes, you laughing at me. Kristen, you know, girl. Man, I miss doing that fire. Remember when I came over to your house and I brought that powder and we burned anger, we burned emotion, we burned all the different, wrote them down on a piece of paper. Okay. Straight woo-woo. We threw them into the fire and I had this really cool, like, powder stuff and I threw it in it. It just went through the whole thing. Kristen is a dear friend of mine that I have known since junior high. Sweetest girl, despite some things that you may hear. So I'm just going to give you that love right now. Okay. Genuine person, genuine. And I know, and I'm speaking from personal experience. Junior high, that was a different thing. But we're all weird in junior high, but I love you, girl, so much. Okay. Do we have questions? Let me scroll back in and see, because what do we got? What's up, everybody that just joined? Jackie, love this. Yes. You were gracious. Thank you. You too. Top drawer. I don't know what that means. Bella. Yeah, we got the 555. Kristen, isn't that your number? Are you still on, baby? Is 555 not your number? You're a therapist, even though you aren't. I like to think that I don't have restrictions on how I can help people with modalities. Okay. Moon circle. Yeah, it was, girl. I love it. Can we like secretly just do that and we can stand 6 feet away and I can just come over and we'll do another moon circle, but like 6 feet. Your fireplace is big enough. Did you screenshot it? Yes, girl. That's your angel number. Okay, because I was just on your stories and you were showing some like your tattoo or something like that. Like, no joke. I didn't hallucinate that, right? That's your angel number. And mine's 333. We should team up our 333s and our 555s. Okay. All right. So since I don't see any questions specifically around relationships, we're going to continue shuffling. The main goal, right, of what I really just want to remind everybody of, okay, because I want this one too. I just pull them kind of intuitively. And we got the 444s and we got the 333s in here. Okay, no joke. When I was having my awakening, some of you guys have heard this story. When Blackberries were cool, my phone used to send me a text message at 3:33 a.m. in the morning. No joke. I kept a log of it. Thank you, Chris. I just got your text on my computer. With the 555 people on. I love it. So it would call me at 3:33 in the morning. So everybody has kind of like their own little number. Put some in the comments, you guys, like what your numbers are. For me, what that means, okay, we'll get a little woo. We'll go a little woo-woo tonight. As half the deck falls out. I'm not reading all of those cards. That's not what's happening, but I want this one. So it just meant that those are unnecessary for this evening. Do I drink coffee? I do. I am committed to only 1 cup of coffee a day, but I make sure that it's organic, and the one that doesn't have mold in it. Okay. You have resonance with the repeating numbers. Yeah, it reminds me to stay on the path. It just reminds me that like you are where you're meant to be in that moment. And it's also kind of like one of those like personal check-ins. Like, okay, am I in alignment? I'm a big believer in staying in emotional alignment, because when things can go crazy in the world, then that pulls us out of our natural highest version of ourselves. It pulls us out of our natural alignment. And our natural alignment, the highest version of ourselves, usually is somewhere around joy. So anything that is pulling us out of joy, when I work with clients, we find the specific one that is for each person. But when something pulls you out of joy, then you can just sort of recognize like, okay, I'm out of alignment. Cool. How do I take some steps to get back into alignment? Because the more that you're out of alignment, then you're in a vibrational resonance of all of that energy, of which case you will continue attracting like things of that energy. So if you get anywhere out of the alignment and into, let's say, anger or frustration, you don't want to stay there long, because now that gets in your field, and now your field gets sticky, and now you're walking around with a sticky energy field, sticking to you, attracting things to you of like energy. So that might mean more people showing up around your field to create more anxiety or anger or frustration, right? So we have to remember, here's what I really, really, really want to remind everybody of. We're at 555 again. Okay, right. Here's what I really want to remind everybody of. Staying in emotional alignment despite what is happening in the world, that what is happening right now, and here, just hear my heart on this and hold the space with me on this, okay? This isn't woo-woo. This is legit, that what is happening right now is causing us to sort of generate that sort of stress, anxiety response when we pay attention to the news, these things. I won't even say the word because I'll like, they've already taken down 3 of my YouTube videos, okay? So I can't say certain things. But we're all in this, girl, I love that you just put the butterflies right there, because yes, we're all in this metamorphosis transformation right now. And right when I said that, that was another 555. Okay, let's go. Let's keep it. Thank you, confirmation. The point is that everything that's happening right now, hold the space with me for this, okay? Everything that's happening right now, it looks like a giant crumbling because it has to, so that then we can rebuild it with the level of integrity and honor and respect that we want. So just like any relationship, we have to get in touch with, hey, what's not working? And reevaluate and work on ourselves and have the other person work on themselves, so that then you can come back into relationships stronger. So that's happening on a global scale. So the more that we find separation or reasons to separate or reasons to shame and pit against each other, we are going out of alignment. We are going in the opposite direction of what we're meant to be reprocessing, reevaluating, destroying certain aspects, certain ways of being that haven't worked and haven't been working for eons, so that then we can rebuild this shit from a foundation that is better. Let's just say better. Okay, let's just start at better. That's what's happening. So if we can continue looking at it from that perspective, continue holding the line of our own emotional alignment, not getting pulled out of alignment, recognize that every moment is an opportunity for you to choose more powerfully how you want to line up. Choose more powerfully how you want to be in alignment. Choose more powerfully what emotions you want to choose. And the reason why I say what emotions you want to choose is because that's your power. And if anybody thinks that you're out of power, that by like that you don't have choice in your emotions, then you don't understand the power that you really have. And that's the continue, like the blame game and the finger pointing game. And that's not the name of this soul circle. That's not how we do that here. We are the ones who say, hey, I'm the conscious creator of my reality. And everything is a choice. If you don't know, or if you don't have the tools to support in your emotional alignment or getting in touch with the emotions that you want, then you don't have choice. You're like stuck between the rock and the hard place and you have no other options. So when we actually give ourselves choices, when you can create the emotional alignment that you do want, and then you say, oh, okay, well, now I have choice. So anything that's not that, you're technically choosing. Choices, not decisions. Yes, babe. If it's a decision, then you're telling the subconscious that you have to give something up in order to have that new thing. A choice is you're presented with options in front of you. You're standing in the observer position, powerfully looking constructively, objectively, and discerning, okay, well, here's fear and anger over here. Here's joy and love and happiness and all of these things that we want stitched on a fucking pillow. Which one would I like to choose? And that's when you have power. If you're only in this and you don't know that you have another option for this, or you don't know how to get to this, then you don't feel like you're in power at all. And usually this conversation is where blame game happens, right? Not taking, I'm going to say it. Oh, not taking responsibility. Nobody likes that word. And yet, like, I feel like Spider-Man, right? Great power comes great responsibility. Like, we all watched the movie. We all know it. And somehow that word, everybody's like, oh, responsibility. I don't know. Because what? That would mean that you would have to give up the blame game in order to have happiness. And that's your power. And that's your choice. That's literally your power and your choice. Woo, the energy's spinning tonight. You think we all needed this today. Love you, Chris. Okay. Let me see. You are with a capital W. What's that mean? Woman? Yeah, boo. The rise of the feminine. Okay. Who gives some hearts? Have you guys like been tapping into that sort of, the feminine energy, whether it's your divine feminine energy, but basically just the rise of the feminine voice. And this goes for all genders. Okay. Yes. So happiness comes from oneself. Yes, 100%. 100%. Okay. Yeah, that was because I love that girl. So the rise of the feminine energy. Okay. That was my girl, Chris. And please go follow her. Okay. So, like I said, she's been a good friend of mine since junior high. I know her very, very, very well. And she has a good, pure heart. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So rising of the feminine. Okay. And we'll get to cards. Rising of the feminine energy means getting in touch with your emotions. Who here resonates with feminine being more emotional, masculine being more mental, just on an average? Yes, hearts. Okay. So as we're rising, getting more in touch with the feminine, so many aspects of the feminine have been suppressed for so many years. So that being said, now we're getting more in touch with the feminine, and now we're getting more in touch with, okay, what is pure, what is vulnerable, what feels really like good. That's all the feminine energy. Masculine, over analyzing, right? War is masculine. We're not hating on the men. Okay. I'm just saying energetically. So if it's that dramatic where it's like in war type energy, then it's out of alignment of the masculine. The feminine can be out of alignment as well. You can be so vulnerable, you can be the victim. That's out of alignment feminine, right? Out of alignment masculine, so intense, so angry, you cause war. Out of alignment feminine, so vulnerable, you get into victim. So there's like layers to it. Give some hearts if that resonated. Destruction. Yes. So both have a shadow and a light side, but we have to understand what part within ourselves has been suppressed that we need to come up, and then what part has been over dominant that we need to balance out. And that's what this whole dynamic that's happening in the entire world is doing. Certain things are crumbling because they've been too intense. They need to sit down a little bit. Some things have been too suppressed, not recognized enough, and they need to be risen and come out from under the suppression. Okay. Does that resonate? Yes, hearts. Okay. Can we talk about vulnerability? Sure. What would you like to talk about vulnerability? It's Kristen Doty. I should put it. Oh my gosh. Will somebody type it in? Who knows? Will somebody type it in for me? Hate is from ignorance. Hate is from a misalignment. Hate is an emotional misalignment. It doesn't mean dishonor the emotion, because it's still an emotion, but it's a emotion that's out of alignment. That's all it is. Okay. There we go. Okay. Back to you now. What was there, a phone call? You're so funny. I was trying to put in your handle. Thank you, Bella, for putting in her handle. I have been suppressed. Time to rise. Yes. All of the feminine. So any aspect of the feminine is rising. That means inside every female as well. We've got, let's be real, ladies. Okay. We've been having aspects of ourselves that have been suppressed for a while. So we're rising into, I've been really into using the archetypes. So the Empress archetype, okay, cheesy as it will be, Queen, Empress, whatever you, right? It's a little bit cheesy, and yet these are archetypes. So these are standard, just understanding behavioral patterns. So it doesn't mean the bitch Empress. Let's be clear about that. That's out of alignment Empress. That's like too far that side. Okay. But there's the voice of the feminine has been suppressed for too long, since way back in the day. But now, right? So that's been out of alignment. So now we're shifting and move and like crumbling the things that have caused that suppression, egoic states that have caused that suppression. And now the aspect can rise. The work that we on our feminine, for every man, woman, gay, straight, doesn't matter. Everybody has an internal, if you believe in yin and yang, the symbol, that's masculine and feminine energy. So everybody who believes in that element within us, we now have to go to, and for those years of programmed layers of suppression, we have to unleash that within ourselves. Does that resonate with you guys? Also felt that my masculine has been very suppressed also, 100%. And there can be. So when I say masculine and feminine, there's layers to it. Okay. So yes, there's the yin and the yang symbol. That's very, just one aspect. Within the masculine, you have multiple layers, right? The masculine is very dynamic, and just the same with the feminine, multiple layers, very dynamic. So you could have aspects of your masculine that you're amazing at, and then certain aspects that I would use the term in resistance of. There's some women, give some hearts, ladies, if you resonate with this as well, that can have aspects of their feminine that they're really in tune with. And then certain aspects of their feminine that are, I'm just going to use the term, in resistance to. So when we can get in, when we can understand all the parts of ourselves that we are at, that we have been in resistance to, and shift that perspective, then you basically operate from the fullest potential. You bring that into relationships, and now there's no stereotypical man does this, woman does this, right? Those are like, that's like the 50s. There's no more of that dynamic, but we have to get in touch with utilizing the fullest potential of ourselves, so that when we bring that into relationships, that it can be like, okay, cool, I can work on this part right here, and when you're not, and then you can work, and then you can swing back to this, and then I can work on this part over here, or you can work on this part, and then I can swing. It becomes like this pendulum between the energies, right? I'm using very vague terms because obviously that would be like, for each individual, it would be how it's showing up specifically. So yes. So if certain aspects of your masculine have been suppressed, which you need to release in order to come back into an alignment and release the anger, 100%. And that could vary. So all of these things happen because of specific events that we've been through. So when significant events happen, we shift our inner alignment to what we're in resistance to and what we're not in resistance to, right? Somebody, let's say, maybe hurt you at one point, and then, or said maybe that you weren't vulnerable enough, right? That's another example. And so then in that dynamic, then you went and said, okay, well, now let me do the opposite, potentially. Again, every person would be very specific on how it is for you and your significant events that have happened, and what program that's set into your subconscious that now you could be operating from and bringing that into your relationships. We've all had this like repeating relationship patterns over and over again, right? When you're bringing old patterns into a new relationship, you're not dating the new person. You're dating the old person through the new person. Does that resonate? And that goes for the other person as well. So if somebody else is bringing patterns from an old relationship, you're not dating them. They're not dating you. You're dating the person that they were in those previous relationships, because it's not a fresh, it's not, it's like it didn't come back to neutral baseline. You didn't release the programs, right? We don't want to release the lessons, but man, we really want to release the programs. Does that resonate? And do you guys know what I mean by that specifically, right? You can, like, let's say that's keep the lesson, release the pattern that's based on fear. That's maybe a better way to say the program. So otherwise, you're not really dating the new person. I've had some relationships where they're like, oh, you dated that person? And now I'm like, no, I didn't. Or I dated them, but I don't think they dated me. They were dating me, but they brought in old patterns. So they couldn't have been dating me. So when we can delete all those, then we can show up in relationships as the fullest version of ourselves without those old patterns, but keeping the lessons, but not bringing the fears, right? And some of that happens with this dynamic between the masculine and the feminine. And sometimes for men, absolutely, they need to get more in touch with their masculine. And sometimes for women, they're too masculine, they need to get more in touch with their feminine. You guys, if you watched one of the other episodes that I did, it's like, that's the pendulum swing, but we almost have to come from where we are to then go all the way over here and be like, okay, no, this is too much. Just come back and find balance. Very similar to what's happening in the world right now. We've been very masculine dominant, a little too much. Okay. We've got to come back into balance. Let's not go so far into the feminine. We actually, there's been some elements of that, right? Remember I said it's too far into the shadow side of the feminine is deep victim. So if we go too far into that, that's not balance either. Like, we don't want to hang out there and we don't want to hang out in war. This is just, right? Can we just keep it in the balance? Keep it in the center. Give some hearts if that's resonating. Feel way more balanced lately. Great. Love that. Love that you guys are having this conversation, like, in between with all of you. The beliefs you hold are also temporary. Okay, so I'm going to clarify that, because what actually determines the behavior that we have is a combination, a sequence of our beliefs, our thoughts, and our feelings. That alignment is the lifestyle that then we have, thus the behavior that we do or don't do. So with that, our beliefs are deeply, deeply rooted in our subconscious, 100%. They're just, it's like they're on autopilot. Hence, then we do certain behaviors based on a belief, and that can be generational, it can be societal, it can be familial, it can be all those different things. So I wouldn't say that beliefs are temporary. Well, what I believe that you're saying is they're not fixed. You get to change them. You get to do whatever you want to with your beliefs. But when we can get in touch with, oh, our beliefs, we took on those beliefs. We learned those beliefs. But then that means you have the power to shift your beliefs. So if your behavior or if your lifestyle or if something is happening in your life or your relationships isn't going the way that you want to, you can literally backtrack the equation to, okay, what are your beliefs? Shift those. Follow the equation down, thought, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, actions. It's a simple equation. It's takes practice, putting into practice daily to do the new equation, because something that you've been doing subconsciously, habitually so much, now you have to put conscious intention with your integrity into practice to rewrite a new program, right? It is really the foundation of why I created the Conscious Lifestyle Method, because it's the 4 phases of that. Awareness is phase 1. You got to become aware. Like, if you're not aware, then you're completely unconscious. It's like the person who doesn't know that they have choice. They just don't know. They're not aware. So become aware. Great, you've got these programs. Great, there's something I can potentially do about them. Then you go into acceptance of them, meaning you have to release the resistance to it. That's usually the hardest part. That's where self-love comes into play, because you have to almost like forgive yourself, forgive whatever caused that, those beliefs, those behaviors, those patterns. You have to release the resistance around it. So you have to get into acceptance. But oh my God, as humans, that's like so the hardest thing, because we're like, no, we don't want something to be that way. And the more that we say, no, we don't want to, then we're saying, no, we don't accept it the way that it is. So when you can release that hold, bring in a little self-love, now you've gotten through phase 2. But that's usually where people stop. And that's where most of the time, and I see this happen with a lot of in the coaching industry as well, it's like that's where when you want to really create a lasting result, you need the next 2 phases. Because if we stop at self-love, which is just acceptance, then it's like, cool, I accept the way that things are. But you haven't created a new pattern yet. You haven't technically given yourself the choice and the option to move to something new. That's the difference. So there's 4 phases to that. Does that resonate? Yes, we got hearts on that. Okay. Okay, let me scroll down because I'm totally behind on. Yes. New action has to be new action, 100%. I'm pretty sure I'm doing a lot of updates on so many different things. And so I think I've updated the website a little bit, and I'm pretty sure that I put the 4 steps to the conscious lifestyle method. If not, I'm pretty sure it's in one of my posts. Okay. I'm going to do a quick little announcement too. Those of you that haven't started following my new page, Soul Circle Collective, for business, for my coaches, my entrepreneurs, my healers, all of that stuff that want support in bringing your online business, turning your services into a 6-figure business, and then some. That is Soul Circle Collective. I'm making it a community page, but it's really going to be targeting around empowerment quotes, women's empowerment for personal and business development. So it's brand new. I think I have like 4 or 5 posts over there. Please go follow that one. But it's mostly for those of you who are really interested in turning your services, your gifts, taking your gifts into the world and doing mentorship and coaching similar to what I do, basically the whole business model that I've grown a successful 6-figure business at. So if that is something that you would like to do, that's Soul Circle Collective, and you can always message me on that for more questions. But I'm kind of expanding things on the business. I'm going to be making other announcements soon, but I really want to share, but it's so not ready yet. So I can't say I'm not going to. I could if I wanted to. But these for love, relationships, okay, still going to be here. I'm just getting more clear and putting things, I'm getting organized, you guys. I'm getting more organized as I branch out things within the business. So, okay, let me, love you, Chris. Thank you, baby. Yeah, I've been posting in my stories, but literally I've had it for a minute, but I've been posting more now. So it's like literally super brand new. Okay. I'm making it fun. I'm making it like girly, fashionable, all that jazz. Right. But it's the empowerment quotes. And, like I said, I'm going to be just putting more, the videos that I make for business, usually that I do on Mondays, those are going to start going over there. Of course, if I'm promoting anything, okay, just being real, it's going to happen here because like I love you guys, and there's other aspects on this page that I don't have on that new page. So let me check it. Do we have questions? Sweet spot. Yes. Okay. I think you guys are having a side question, but I don't know what it is. Release the programming. Yes. One of my favorites that I do with everybody first, because it's like the most intense. I believe in teaching practices, right? Like tangible things that you can put into practice every day that will help strengthen those new healthy programs, right? This is about self-mastery. Any relationship that you're going into, you have to be able to know yourself, master yourself in order to then practice with somebody else how to just relate better. So I'm a believer in teaching practices that do that will create true lasting change in reprogramming certain subconscious patterns and creating those new healthy patterns that you want, that basically help you create a foundation of healthy relating, right? We say communication, and then it's like, cool, that's great. How do we do that? We say reprogram the subconscious mind. It's like, great. How do we do that? So one of my favorite ones is what I call recoding, limiting commands, because all of the things, all the conversations that you have in here, give some hearts if you guys, if those have been like on hellfire more recently, okay? Because like the collective also, we can hear the collective. So when that comes in, and then you might be having some of these like subconscious thoughts, and it's like, why am I having those? Sometimes you can hear them, sometimes you can't. So those are not the authentic version of you. That's not the voice of the authentic version of you. And so if that's not the voice of the authentic version of you, then who the F is talking? And when you're going into a relationship and you're trying to communicate and you have somebody else that's not the authentic version of you having a conversation, that's got to go. So then you can hear the authentic version of you and communicate from there. Otherwise, you might say something that you don't mean. And when you say something that you don't mean, have you guys ever been in that situation where somebody says something and then all of a sudden, oh my God, like I didn't mean that? When you're in reaction, you're not in power then, but that is literally, that's a subconscious command that then just pops out your mouth. Well, why was it there? And then it's activating different emotions, and then those emotions stir in you, and then forgiveness is harder. Just like a couple things. That's all. Okay. Let me see. Cards. Thank you. Guys, I'm going on a rant. Yes. Platonic relationships is just as important to reprogram as romantic. 100%, baby. I'm so happy that you said that. That's why you helped me with that for sure. Oh, I love that, babe. I'm so happy that it did. This is a really interesting topic. I've had this with my brother. Actually, girl, I don't think you were on, was what, 2 weeks ago, something like that. Every relationship that we have, we are practicing, including the one with yourself. So just because it's a romantic relationship doesn't mean that you're not in the game practicing. I had another client even say today, it was like, okay, oh my gosh, like people are projecting onto me. And then this is showing up over here. And this is showing, I'm like, that has been this whole week. Like every conversation, people are like, it's coming from all angles. And I just start laughing because I get really, really excited because one, if you work with me, those of you who have worked with me, you know, right? I'm like, awesome. Opportunity. We do a lot of laughing. And the point is that it is an opportunity for you to use everything that you've practiced, everything that you said that you were working on with self-mastery, those skills, to put that into practice. Right? It's just like, and I don't play sports, but it's literally like you practice on how to get better to play the sport. Then you have practice games before the real game. And then you have the legit game. And how are you going to be better? How are you going to get better unless you're putting them into practice? How are you going to be an all-star athlete at relationships unless you're putting them into practice? And that means in all relationships. You don't have relationships with just romantic partners. We think that. You have a relationship with yourself. You have a relationship with your friends, your family. You have a relationship with your cell phone. Let's be real. You have a relationship with your spiritual alignment. You literally have a relationship with your body, with the food that your body. I talk to my body all the time. What do you want to eat, girl? What are we having today? Oh, you had that? Well, I don't feel so good now. You shouldn't have had that. Okay, next time we're not going to do that. I'm going to take care of you. Got it. You don't like that new food? Cool. We're not going to do that right now. Listen, ask. That's being in a relationship. Communicate. Connect. So that's always, always, always putting it into practice. So that when times like we're in right now, which is the fucking end game of all end games, you can put into practice. You can be the all-star athlete leading from a place of, okay, I'm not going to get out of alignment. I'm going to hold space. We're going to create what we want. We're going to have conscious communication. I'm going to come from a place of compassion and love no matter what. I'm going to see that everything that's showing up is for the purpose of destructing and destroying old unhealthy ways of being so that we can put new ones into practice, put new ones into being. A breakdown is never a bad thing. Breakdown in relationship, never a bad thing. That's your fucking opportunity to strengthen, to create something new and create deeper levels of connection. And it baffles me right now. It absolutely baffles me, especially with people who are in the spiritual conscious healer community are not practicing what they've been saying that they've been putting into practice. And this goes for everybody. Okay. So I'm not finger pointing. I've had my same challenges. Okay. So I say equally, same about myself, I'm still human, right? I got to backtrack my own shit sometimes. Like, oh, Sarah, oh, back it up. Sit down for a second. Take 5. Bench yourself sometimes. And it's always about a breakdown is for the purpose of stronger connection and stronger bond. So it's baffling to me that more people are breaking up, more people are speaking in ways that are causing separation and just more just pitting against each other, right? And yet at the same time, it's like, okay, so that's got to happen. Sometimes you got to have an argument to find out what's not working. So let's all just hold space for that, but let's hold space for that with the intention that we're going to rebuild it from a better place. So we're going to practice and putting something, be like, oh, that's not working. That's clearly not working. That's very highlighted how that's not working. Okay. What would we like to do that's better? How can we create a better bond now? How can we get back into alignment and then use that as an opportunity for creating greater connection, greater love and support for one another? Yes. I miss feeling nurtured from a partner. Yeah. Totally get that. And you guys will know I keep it real all the time. So before we can ask something of someone outside of ourselves, we have to ask ourselves if we're giving it to us. Because how can we ask it from someone outside of ourselves if we're not giving it to ourselves? We can't be like, oh my God, like commit to me when I'm not even committing to me. Oh my God, nurture me when like I haven't taken any time to nurture me. Why would they if we're not showing, we're not stepping up and saying that we're worth intimacy within ourselves? So why would they? First and foremost, doesn't mean to not create that with somebody. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get that with somebody. But if we can't first say like, okay, well, have I been intimate with myself today? Have I been intimate with myself today? Take that how you will, okay? Take that how you will. Sometimes intimacy can be a really nice bubble bath. And then sometimes intimacy can be like checking in with you, having that conversation, taking a second and being like, how you doing, girl? How we at? What we got today? Don't get me started, okay? I don't got time for that. What I mean is I don't have soul circle time for that. I got 10 minutes. Let's do cards. Great place to segue on the bubble bath. Okay, so this week. Okay. Wow, that keeps coming up. We're going to get a clarifying one on that one. Inspired warrior. Here we go. I know it's backwards and you guys can't see it, okay? But look at the artwork. Look at that sexy, divine, badass masculine right there. That is called owning the masculine. Owning. Full on in alignment with the masculine that honors, that supports, that acknowledges the feminine. He has to acknowledge the feminine within himself in order to acknowledge the feminine that he would like to have in his life. If he cannot, then he will never respect her because he doesn't respect the inner feminine within himself. So an inspired warrior is in balance with all of those. Yes. Did you just say dibs? Hey. Call it in. Okay, so the inspired warrior, that's also, okay, we're going to say that's the masculine side of the feminine as well. Okay, so this isn't just about men. This is the masculine side of the feminine. What is that like? Yeah, you guys are like, the fire, absolutely. Right? What is that inspiration? Where is that like part of you that, so war, how I was talking about like war and anger war, that's out of balance masculine, that's not inspired warrior. Inspired warrior has still passion, still very strong in the masculine, but if it's honoring the feminine, then the inspiration is feminine energy. Warrior type of energy that might still be, he might be a fighter, absolutely. That your inner to the ladies, your inner masculine might be that like badass fighter, absolutely. But if she's in balance with her feminine at the same time, then it's not this over dominating, just war for the sake of war, egoic suppression. Fucking inspired warrior. You can move mountains with this. Make room for the feminine to create. Yes, absolutely. Comes down to, we've got the feminine right after that with intention. So what is your conscious intention? Every single, we'll put this into relationships specifically. What is your conscious intention within relationships? If you don't know, this is a little bit same thing in like business. If you don't have a vision or an understanding of like why you're doing what you're doing, right? I work with so many like healers and stuff too. It's like, okay, why do you want to help people? Why do you want to be in a relationship? What is the intention that you're coming to relationships for? If you're not clear on what that is, there's a common intention that both partners can have. And when you match at common intention, that's when I believe chemistry is on point, sexual energy is on point. You have friendship at the same time as like romance. Like it's both of your intentions meet at the same place. But if you don't even know what your intention is and they don't know what their intention is, then how are you guys going to know where you meet? What's the intention for the relationship? Eat, sex, eat, work, sex, eat, work, sex, like boring. That's baseline human. We don't do baseline human. We want conscious, badass partnerships that have a positive, badass intention, that are like up to doing something. What are you creating together? It can be a child. It can be something that you're building. It can be something like, but what is the intention? And maybe it's not. Maybe it's just to come together and experience practicing. Maybe that's the intention, but get super clear on what it is. So then you guys are like, cool, we're like on the same page. Got you. Right? Yes, need passion on both polarities. 100%. Okay. All right. I love my coconut water. I love it. Please. Positive future. Here's the thing. It's in our hands. The future is 100% in our hands. Every single intuitive whatever that I've either spoke to or had other people talk to, and then they've said the same thing, everybody's like, it's undecided. The positive future, if we can be in that balance, if we can be mastering ourselves at a greater level, if we can then be having those, like, what kind of life do you want? How is the life that has been so far pre-CV, okay? What is it that you really would like to create? What do you want the positive future to look like? Because it's 100% in your hands. I'm literally saying that despite whatever you hear on the news right now. Your future, the positive future, is 100% in your hands. It's in all of our hands. Spider-Man, responsibility, great power, positive future. Takes practice. Also, it's not going to happen. The game's not going to win itself. It's just not. No game wins itself. Who is it won by? Who is it won by? I don't even play sports. Who is the game always won by? You put the best players in the game. You put the best players at the front. Everybody else benched. You don't want to show up to play a bigger, better game for a positive future? Bench yourself. Sit down. Stop talking. The players. Yeah. The best players. The ones who want to show up and practice for a positive future. Any coach in the world, if you go out there and you're just like causing shame and spewing on people and treating each other like shit, sit down. You're benched. That's not going to win the game for the positive future. Can I get serious? Oh, on that. Yes, 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 hearts. Okay. So if anybody is coming at anybody with anything, literally all you have to do with love and compassion, just say, sit down. You're benched. Because you're not contributing to a positive future. What did I hear? Leanna, are you on today? Well, or no. Was it Yeti? Is Yeti on? So my girls that I was coaching today, okay? I have to just give credit where it's due. Pretty sure it was Yeti. So it was either Yeti or Leanna. I can't remember. And she was like Mama used to say, okay, we need to make this a quote, and this quote needs to go viral. You remember how everybody knows this? You know how everyone's mom has said this. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Sit down. You're benched. Quote by mom. Okay? Let's go. Yes. Yes. Yeti, was it you? I think it was. Oh, shit. 2 minutes. Okay. Because what do we get then? Field of Dreams. All right. This is what I want the clarification on. What does that mean? Prosperity and freedom. Field of Dreams means prosperity and freedom. So that is the sequence for this week. Fucking put your best shit in the game. Play at your best level so that we can have the positive future. It's not hard, but man, it takes responsibility. Man, it takes discipline. Man, it takes practice. But that's why athletes are the athletes. That's why the star players are the star players. So if you don't want to be a star player, then sit the F down and bench yourself. We need leaders now who are playing a bigger game. That's what's up. None of this, it's not about politics. Get off. Oh, God, get off the politics. This literally has nothing to do with politics. I hate politics. I love you guys all so much. I'm so glad that resonated. Chris, baby, I love you so much. Thanks for just jumping on and blasting the word out. I love you. Please, can we hang out 6 feet away, whatever? I don't even care. I'm Sarah Delane, the Conscious Lifestylist. Go follow Soul Circle Collective for business. Love and Relationships is this page. If you are for business and you want to be getting on camera to sharing your voice and playing a bigger game with helping people, my Confidence for Camera 5-day challenge is happening in September, but the link is in my bio. Get the early seat now. 5-day free challenge so that I can help you leaders do what you do. I love you. Have a good night. See you next week. Good night, YouTube.